Damn, everybody is tough until it's time to face the music. News just broke, man, that Casanova actually wrote a letter to the judge. He pled guilty. He's trying to get less time. The man is facing up to 60 years in prison. And no doubt, the judge could actually look at Casanova as a gang member slash repeat offender, someone who took an opportunity to become better in life, making a whole lot of money, gaining some fame and notoriety with it, and used it to influence others to do wrong, as well as used it to bolster a criminal enterprise. So if the police or the judge, if the judge looks at him in this manner, oh, he's going away for a long time. This video right here, we're about to talk about why Casanova is actually in jail, locked up, awaiting sentencing, because a lot of people don't know, and you hear a whole lot of free Casanova, but you got to know the details. But before we do that, let's talk about him telling the judge, I denounce this gang. I'm no longer a gang member. And then a few days later, he gets raked in the face. His face gets slashed. But there's more to the story, because you know Casanova considers himself to be a gorilla amongst monkeys. In other words, he gets it in when it's necessary in time to survive. Welcome back to the channel. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on this channel. All right, man. So according to Complex, this is the details. It says that Casanova is currently behind bars as he awaits sentencing on a series of racketeering and narcotics offenses, which we will get into in a minute. But he's reportedly been a victim of an attack by a fellow inmate not long after he condemned his past criminal activities with the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation Bloods gang. He wrote a letter to the judge denouncing the gang. Damn, a lot of people out here are saying, yo, he checking out, he going into PC, this, that, and the other. But on top of that, you have a lot of people saying, oh, you have to play it smart, and all he is doing is playing it smart. He is denouncing the gang so he can get less time. Let me tell you something. If that's what you're saying, you're not doing this man any favors, because you're just putting ideas in people's head. And if the judge at sentencing time thinks that that's all Casanova is doing is just denouncing the gang just so he could get less time in prison, the judge is going to feel like you're trying to pull one over on the court. You have no intentions of becoming a better person. So I'm about to royally F you. And he about to throw the book at him. Let's not forget, he's facing up to 60 years. Okay, so NBC New York said that Casanova got slashed on his face in a vicious altercation with another inmate. I'm thinking he denounced the gang, so they sent somebody after him. Right? I remember when that other rapper, young dude, he was out in LA and they shot up his vehicle and they killed his friend. And he was screaming. And then he said he no longer wants to be a part of the gang. Right? And everybody made fun of him. And all the gangsters says that's not how you do it. People die every day. It's a part of it, comes with this territory. So when somebody dies, you can't just run and talk about, oh, I don't want to be a part of this no more. You got to come to the hood to get put off the same way you got put on. Okay. There are consequences for this. You got to turn over a lot of things. Some people want to scrape a tattoo off your skin, all this other stuff. Casanova, he got slashed in the face. The Brooklyn rapper was involved in a fight on Thursday, June 15th, according to NBC New York, at the Essex County Correctional Facility where he is being held as he awaits sentencing following his guilty plea on multiple charges. I'm watching all these other headlines. One says Casanova pleads for lighter sentence in a letter to the judge, condemns his past gang crimes. Another one says Casanova pleads guilty to drug and racketeering charges, faces up to 5 to 60 years in prison. And another one says Casanova says he'd be free already if one of the higher ups really made someone look into my case. Internal reports from corrections officers says that he was slashed with a blade-like weapon across his face by another inmate. The other inmate name is Ulysses Lugo. Ulysses Lugo slashed him across his face. But Casanova didn't take that laying down. He chased down Ulysses Lugo. And when he caught Ulysses Lugo, him alongside some other inmates, when he chased him down, he caught him. This is according to the officers, the corrections officers that were there. They said Casanova chased him down after he slashed his face, and then he caught him. And when he caught him, he retaliated by cutting Lugo's face, slashing his face back several times. He didn't just slash him once. Now, dude slashed Casanova's face one slash. Casanova ran him down, caught him, slashed his face multiple times. The investigation is now still ongoing. You know how the whole jailhouse stuff goes. Who started it first? Who instigated it? Everybody is on lockdown. Everybody is being punished. Even the victim is being punished in this. If he got his face slashed unprovoked, they still about to punish him because that's how it goes on the inside. Inmate Lugo, the officer, the corrections officer says you couldn't see his face. His face was saturated in blood. That's what the officer said. He spoke on a condition of anonymity. In other words, I don't want to be known. Hide my ID. Don't tell nobody this me, but I'm telling you, I was there. That man's face could not be seen. He cut up his face really bad. His whole uniform was saturated in blood. Inmate Casanova was sitting there with his one slash on his face, and blood was just coming out of his face too. So his slash that he got, that Casanova got on his face, it was really bad. The blood just kept pouring out of it. But the dude that slashed him, he ran him down and caught him. Man, he raked up his face. Earlier this month, it was reported that Casanova asked the judge for leniency by renouncing his association with the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation Bloods gang. Gangs don't take that too lightly. They believe you're supposed to stand 10 toes down no matter what. You renounce us, there's consequences to be paid. You can't ride on this when times are good, and then when times go bad, you throw the flag in. That's not how it works. In the letter that was sent to the judge from Casanova, Casanova said that he will speak publicly about severing ties with the gang in the future. He is trying to bargain his way to lesser time in prison. I'll become a public spokesperson. I'll go around and speak to people about the dangers of joining gangs, and it's not a good thing and all that in the future. Also included in that same letter was a statement from his family and his friends who expressed hope in securing a lighter sentence for Casanova. Yo, it gets real behind them prison walls. But check this out. Casanova was always a real one, because I've seen his interviews before, and he spoke about, your asshole being a pocket. That's where people carry a lot of their stuff. That's where they carry their shank. That's where they carry all that other stuff. Now, if you imagine being in an environment where you have to keister or push a knife up in your asshole and then pull it out when you need it to stab and cut up somebody, and keep it in your asshole and walk around with it all the time, it has to do something to your state of mind, your mental health. And I remember, I believe it was Charlemagne conducting the interview, and Charlemagne asked him, so, hey man, speaking of all these traumatic things you've been through, let me ask you about your mental health. How are you now? Because after going through all that, having to put stuff in your butt, how you dealing with all that? He said, man, listen, I get counseling. So he had to go get counseling after he got out. That was just letting you know that it gets that real behind them bars. Now, here's the reason why he is where he is at. So you have a full understanding. It wasn't just the white man trying to hold the black man down. He really got into some shit. And now he is in up to his nose. So on December 1st of 2020, federal authorities shared some social media posts seeking help to locate a 36-year-old rapper in connection to their 18-person indictment against the gang Untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang. They were looking for Casanova. The members were charged with racketeering, murder, narcotics, firearms, and fraud offenses. A day later, Casanova, aka Caswell Cas Sr., he surrendered himself to federal authorities. This in 2020. The indictment contained 16 charges for various crimes that were committed in Poughkeepsie, Peekskill, and New York City. Among 18 men, one named Brandon Soto was charged with murder of a minor. That occurred September 21st of 2020 in Poughkeepsie, New York. Members of the Gorilla Stone gang committed terrible acts of violence, trafficked in narcotics, and even engaged in brazen fraud by exploiting benefit programs meant to provide assistance in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Y'all know what them PPP loans and all that was about. They were diversifying their portfolio according to federal officials. They were getting money from all angles. Some PPP money, some drug money, you know, all other kinds of money. Music money, whatever. Although Casanova initially maintained his innocence, he eventually pled guilty to counts of racketeering, conspiracy, and narcotics on Wednesday, May 11th of 2022. He was the 13th person of the 18-person defendants to make that move. So in other words, everybody else already pled guilty. So there's no need for you to go in there and try to be 10 toes down, fight anything. 13 out of 18, right? Just days before the unfortunate incident, Casanova wrote a letter to the judge, Judge Philip Halpern, renouncing his ties with the Untouchable Stone Gorilla Gang. In his emotional letter, he admitted to losing his father to cancer and having suicidal thoughts. Surviving on Rikers Island and upstate correctional facilities were not easy, with racial and gang tensions and violence at its heights, he said. Now, according to Rolling Stone, the rapper was forced to accept the prosecution's plea deal after someone snitched on him already. He admitted to distributing about 100 kilograms of marijuana and being a signal caller for the Gorilla Stone gang. Additionally, Casanova fessed up to being involved in a New York City robbery that left a 36-year-old woman badly injured. He also admitted his involvement in a 2020 shooting in Florida over some gambling disputes. Casanova faces anywhere between 15 to 60 years behind bars, and he's currently awaiting his sentence at the Essex County Correctional Facility in Newark. His next court appearance is set for June 27th. Today is the 17th. Let's see what happens on the 27th. I don't know if the judge is going to take some leniency on him, seeing that he got his face slashed and all that. Usually, the judges don't care. The judges usually say, well, you shouldn't have got yourself into all that in the first place. These are some serious charges. Someone even lost their life. And someone was seriously injured and have to wear that injury for the rest of their life. So here you are standing in front of me, and I don't know if you are a person who is truly remorseful or you're just sorry that you got caught. With that said, this is a strong message to everybody that if you ain't built like this, don't go down that route. Casanova is actually kind of built like this. I've listened to him speak before, and I've seen him go through these motions before. He loves his family. He wants to be home, but he got himself into some shit that he's going to have to try to either ride it out or eventually get up out of, right? This is a learning experience for him, and I hope he survives it. Now, with him being behind bars and him renouncing the gang, there will be others who will be coming after him. And he's going to have to defend himself. You see, the thing about prison is this, right? You can go in and you're looking at 5 years. And before you know it, you caught a murder charge behind bars defending yourself. And now you're looking at a life sentence. And then you're stuck inside and there's no more window for your freedom. And I hope he never gets caught up like that. He obviously is the kind of person who's going to do whatever it takes to survive. He's a big dude. He's strong. I've seen him change. Like when he's behind bars, he eats and he works out and he gets a lot of rest. So he starts getting big and strong looking, right? And he could defend himself. He is that from the street type person. But for the people who ain't built like this, make sure you don't go down this route. Because you see what it is. And when they cut you in your face, if you don't have the guts to run a man down and the strength to fight him and hold him down and cut his face up multiple times for doing that to you, then you could end up being somebody's bitch behind them bars, right? It's a deterrent. I wish Casanova all the best, man. When you were out here, you brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. You made a lot of people laugh. For some reason, all that stuff you've been through, he always kept a sense of humor, regardless. But you know how it goes already. And I wish him all the best. Whatever it is, that's what it is. This is out of our hands, so it don't matter what we say. It's what the judge says come the 27th of June. I'll catch y'all in the next video. I'm out. Peace.